Hello everyone, my name is Mohit and I welcome you all to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing great. This is part 3 of PySpark tutorial playlist and in this video we will briefly overview Databricks Community Edition platform and we'll explore its features and functionalities what are available. Okay, and in my last video I have already explained how you can install and log into Databricks Community Edition. So if you have not watched that video, then I recommend you to please watch that video as well because this video is a continuation of previous video only. Okay, so what all topic we are going to cover in this video? So first point would be a brief overview of Databricks Community Edition. And we will try to explore what is workspace, what is notebook, what are clusters, data, and other assets provided by this platform. And also we'll see, just for the demo purpose, we'll see how we can create the notebook and how we can create clusters as well. Okay. So once we are comfortable with these topics, then from the next video onward, we can dedicatedly focus on PySpark coding part. Okay. So let us try to discuss these things in a great detail. So for that, let me log into Database Community Edition. So here you can just search Database Community Edition login, press enter, go to this first link. Okay. Here it will ask you to enter username and password, and these username and password will be created while you do sign up in this community account, and that we have already seen in our previous video. So let me log in first. Click on sign in. So this page will be open. Okay. Now here you can see there are multiple tabs in the left panel, and there are few quick links also, like a create notebook, browse file, like this. And in right side, you can see there's a question mark. So if you click on this one, you can see multiple options. So what all things are there in each tab, we'll see. Okay. So starting from this left panel, if you observe, there's an arrow. If you click on this, there are two options, data science and engineering and machine learning. So since we are going to perform our works related to data engineering, so we'll click on this only. Now, second option is create. If you click on this one, it will give you option to create notebook, create table, or create clusters. Now, in short, if I tell about notebook, then it is a place where you can write and execute your query. And in order to create some data, or if you want to create some table, you can go with this option. And third option is clusters. So in order to execute notebook, you need computing power. Okay. So cluster is the same thing. It provides a computational power with the help of which you can run your notebook. So every notebook has a cluster attached, and whenever you execute it, it will provide a compute power, and then only your query will be executed. Okay. So how we can create notebook, how we can create clusters, we'll see. Now, third option is workspace. So if you click here, there are like options like users. So all the users who are working in this workspace, it will show the list of them. So currently there is only one user with my ID. Okay, so it is showing only one. Now, if you click on this arrow, there is an option to create notebook, option to create folders, option to create libraries, and option to create machine learning flow experiment. Okay. So if you click on this one, you can create a notebook. If you click on this folder, then inside this folder again, you can create notebook and you can create another folders. Okay. So if you click it, let me name it as test folder. Okay. Now if you create it, it will create a folder. See, and if you click on this arrow, then again it will give you the same options. Inside this folder, you can create a notebook. You can create another nested folder. Okay. You can clone this folder. You can rename, move, delete. Okay. So now coming to this recent. In recent, you will see your recent activity, what you have done in this workspace. And here's the search option. You can search anything you want here. Now next come catalog. So this is the place where you can work with your data, whether you want to import some kind of files, you want to create some tables, and you want to work on top of those data by creating notebook and executing the queries. Okay, so in order to create table or import files, you can come here and click on this create table. Okay, so this will open this page if you click on this create table. Now here you can see that there is an option to upload your files, and these file will be stored in DBFS, Databricks file system. So DBFS, you can consider it as like a local repository for this workspace. So whenever you upload any files or data, it will store in this repository only. So inside DBFS, you will get file store, then a table, and then you will see your file details. Okay. Now you can directly drag and drop your files or upload your files. Or let's say you want to upload your files from other data sources, then you can click on this one. You can select your proper data source, and from there you can upload your files. Okay. So here are multiple options. For this demo purpose, I'm going to upload a test file, and here I'll select this test file, click on open. See, file uploaded to file store table and test file.csv. So you can access this file by navigating to this location. Now coming to compute. Here if you see, so this is the same place where you can create your cluster. Here there are two options, all purpose compute, job compute. So to normally debug your notebook, you need to create all purpose cluster or compute. But let's say if you want to schedule your notebook in order to run it, let's say every day or every hour or the time which you have specified. So in order to handle that situation, you need to create job cluster. Okay. So from this community edition, you cannot create job cluster. So we can go with all purpose cluster. Now, in order to create cluster, you can click on this create compute, and the same thing you got from here. So if you go to create and if you click on this cluster, this is going to open same page, what it will open after clicking this one. Okay. So let me click here in order to create cluster. Now we need to name it. Let's say demo underscore cluster. And let's go with the default runtime version. And here everything is same. So this will provide one driver and no workers. And that's fine for our case because we are going to write some small queries. So one driver is fine in order to provide compute power. Okay. Now, in order to create your cluster, click on this one, create compute, and it is going to take some time. Okay. So let me resume this video once the cluster is created. Fine. So cluster is created. You can see this as a green tick. That means this demo cluster is created, and now we can use this cluster. Okay, so you can see your cluster here also. Name, what is the runtime, and the detail of it. And whenever you create a notebook, so in order to create a notebook, we can go to create button, click on this notebook, and this will create a notebook. You can rename this notebook like demo notebook, and you can write your query here. So if you're writing your query in Python, you can select your language. It is Python is selected. You can select other language in which you want to write your code. Okay. And you can see a cluster is already attached, demo cluster, which we created just now. Okay. So once your job is done, you can detach this cluster as well. So here's the option to perform those things. Now, in order to run this, you can click on this button, run cell, or you can just press shift enter. See, so this is running fine. So similarly, we can write our PySpark code. And in order to run all the cell at a time, you can click on this run all. Okay. So this was the basic of how you can use notebook. And of course, the more about it you will understand in our upcoming videos. Okay. Now the last point is if you click on this question mark button on right top corner, there are multiple options. Help Center. If you click on this, you can get the detail about documentations, knowledge base. Okay. So these things will help you to understand what you are searching for. And then release notes. If you click on this one, release notes, it is nothing but let's say Databricks is releasing some kind of new features. So they will provide a documentation here and you can go through it. Now, documentations. So again, the same things. If you go through this documentation, then you can understand about this Databricks workspace and you can parallelly implement the things by going through this documentation. Now, fourth is like knowledge base. So here also they have provided some important documentation and you can go through those things in order to get some better picture on certain topic in which you want help. Okay. So this was the pretty much about exploring this workspace and of course many more things will come in future when we practice PySpark coding. Okay. So let me go back to slide.